everybody, welcome to the latest episode of the SCU show, brought to you by, as always, Graham Slim Inc. Graham Slim Inc. is a new and up-and-coming graphics and clothing material by Tori Graham. Tori's been working on graphic design for 5 years now and has decided to start his own business, partnering with a couple of indoor football and semi-pro football teams. You can follow Graham Slim Inc. on Facebook at Graham Slim Inc., Twitter at Graham_Tori, and Instagram at Graham Slim Inc. Contact Graham Slim Inc. for all your graphic design needs today. Alright, so it's the Friday after the Super Bowl, so we got to talk about it. We got to talk about the Super Bowl, right? And I'm here to tell you that Kansas City, wow, what a team. First of all, what a team Kansas City really is. Like, that is amazing. That the fact that they came back down 10 three times this postseason, and down 10 in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl, that is just absolutely amazing. So let's get started to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs when it comes to the Super Bowl. Kansas City's the next dynasty. This is absolutely the next dynasty. They have all the pieces. They have Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Damian Williams is a great running back. You have Tyreek Hill. Sammy Watkins might not play next year. They don't know. Actually, I don't think they actually know yet. Way too early right now to tell. But if he does play next year, it's going to be really good team. Obviously, you have the coach, Andy Reid. You have offensive coordinator Eric. I forget his last name, but it's a really good thing he didn't go to the Browns because who knows what he would have done in Cleveland. I wish he had gone to the Browns, but obviously it worked out for the Chiefs. And really, despite the fact that the Chiefs have a really great team around them, nobody can really dispute that. The other thing is, with the Chiefs, there's only one team standing in their way, and that's New England. And right now, New England is standing in their own way, so it's really like there's no really in Kansas City's way when it comes to the AFC. By the way, next year, the Chiefs host the Patriots. That's going to be such an interesting game. I'm thinking about going, and that's all the way across the country where I'm at. But I'm very excited. I would be definitely interested in going. We'll see what happens. How things go. For right now, Chiefs host Patriots next year, and that's one hell of a matchup. And like I said, the Chiefs, their next dynasty. This team's going to be in the Super Bowl for years to come. Like, this is not just, the one-hit wonder like we see in the NFC, which we'll get to in a moment. We see a lot of this in the NFC. We don't see this a lot in the AFC. In the AFC, it's a lot of the same teams. The Steelers had their dynasty. The Patriots have their dynasty now, and they're still doing it after 10, 20 years, whatever the case is. They're still doing it. The Chiefs, though, however, Tom Brady's going to retire in the next 2 or 3 years, and then that's it. That's it for New England. Kansas City's going to take that spot from them because, again, they have the team to do it. They have Patrick Mahomes. Travis Kelce's the great tight end. Tyreek Hill is your best receiver, and you're going to get more great receivers. You have Damian Williams, a great run game. You saw what he did in the Super Bowl against that San Francisco defense. So really, Kansas City, outside of New England, that's the team that's going to be the beat for the next 3 to 4 years, and possibly more, depending on how long Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Damian Williams and Travis Kelce are all together. I said Travis Kelce twice. I meant Tyreek Hill. I don't know how long they're all together, really, and that's going to be, like I said, it's just going to be a really good team. Chiefs, you're going to be back in the Super Bowl. I'll be watching. I can't wait. And congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs for winning Super Bowl 54. They do not just deserve that win, they absolutely earned that win. Coming down from 10 three times to win all their playoff games, including the big one. Congratulations to Andy Reid finally getting his ring. And once again, congratulations to the Chiefs for winning Super Bowl 54. Alright, now we'll switch gears. We'll switch gears here. We'll talk about San Francisco. The 49ers, on the other hand, they're not going to be back. They're not going to be back in the Super Bowl. And I just said this, but I said this before in the last segment. We see this with every NFC team. We've seen it the last several Super Bowls. Carolina, they lost Super Bowl 50. Oh, they'll be back. Don't worry about it. They deteriorated. Atlanta, of course, let's all make the 28-3 jokes now and get them out the way. Oh, Atlanta will be back. They'll be fine. Nobody's more guilty than that than me. I said it the last 2 years. Deteriorated. Eagles win Super Bowl 52. Oh, they'll be back. They'll be fine. The Carson Wentz come back. Deteriorate. Won their playoff game after a kicker missed a field goal in Chicago in wind. Rams lose Super Bowl. Oh, they'll be back. Missed playoffs this year. So again, we've seen this last 4 years. The Panthers, the Falcons, the Eagles, and the Rams have all just fell apart after getting to the Super Bowl to represent the NFC. And it's pretty much we're seeing a pattern here. The Niners are in the same boat as these 4 teams. The Niners are not going to be back in the Super Bowl next year. Not to mention that the NFC West is a very tough division. They barely got the 1 seed. They got the 1 seed on a couple inches from Seattle. Seattle should have been the 1 seed, possibly the 2, depending on what happened with Green Bay. But the Seahawks were the one that's supposed to be the 1 seed. San Francisco was supposed to be like the 5 seed, and they wouldn't have gotten to the Super Bowl had they been the 5 seed. They had the home field advantage. And, of course, they played some crappy teams. The Vikings are not a great team, despite what people think. Who knows what Kirk Cousins is going to do next year, what he's going to be like. Who knows? Nobody knows. Nobody knows anything about Kirk Cousins yet. And then, obviously, the Packers, who have lost, I think that's Aaron Rodgers' 4th or 5th loss in the NFC Championship game in his career. So, that says a lot about Green Bay when it comes to the NFC Championship game. But that's the point. The thing is that, again, San Francisco is not going to be back because they have a tough division. The NFC East has gotten tougher. We'll get to that in a second. Everything has just gotten absolutely tougher for the NFC. And again, we've seen this pattern before. The NFC gets to the Super Bowl. Oh, they'll be back. They'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Be worried about it, ladies and gentlemen. Because the 49ers, they're not going to be, 4-12 again next year. They'll be maybe 10-win team. Maybe they'll get to the postseason. I wouldn't put it behind them. They're not getting back to the Super Bowl. It's actually, and I have a lot of Niners fans that follow me, the 49ers are going to be in the Super Bowl for quite a while because, again, this NFC with the pattern and the NFC's getting better, which we'll get to in a moment. I hope you enjoyed your time in Miami, 49ers, because it's not going to be a long time. Well, not a long time. It'll be a while until you get back to the Super Bowl. Speaking of... Okay, so now the season's over, and it's time to look forward to next season. Very early, of course. Season just ended. This is the Friday after the Super Bowl. But I'm already looking forward to next season. I did with college football stuff. I'm doing now with the NFL. So here are 5 things I'm looking forward to 2020, 21 season. Number 1, the Arizona Cardinals are going to be such a much better team. I'm so excited for Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury and that offense and that great defense that they have to compete. And again, I just said it, the NFC West. I don't know. San Francisco is going to be on the downhill spiral. The Rams are already on the downhill spiral. And then you have Seattle. Who is Seattle? You can't really be out Seattle for the NFC West. But you can get really close to a playoff push come to the end of the season when you're Arizona with that offense. Larry Fitzgerald's coming back. They might improve their offensive line, depending on what they do in the draft. They might get another receiver. I've seen mock drafts that have CeeDee Lamb, the receiver at Oklahoma, going number 6 to Arizona. Or whatever the heck Arizona has. So that would be great too. Keep giving Kyler these targets. If you don't give him the offensive line, I feel like they'll be fine without the offensive line because Kyler Murray can run the football. Yeah, have you seen that kid? Good Lord, he's like Lamar Jackson without the passing stats. Sheesh. Cardinals is going to be a great team. That's the first one. Number 2, and I've been thinking about this all season long. Baker Mayfield. What is going to happen, Baker Mayfield? Is he going to do well next year? Who knows? Because right now, Odell Beckham Jr. was out. I think everybody knows that at this point. And it's just a big mess in Cleveland, of course. I don't like any of the moves they're making. I said it last week. I don't like any of the moves. None of them. You hired Kevin Stefanski, who was an offensive coordinator for the Vikings, a mediocre quarterback, Kirk Cousins, who was just better than Baker Mayfield. They scored 10 points at a playoff game, and now he's your head coach. You really think that's going to help you? Well, good luck, Cleveland. Hopefully Baker does well. If not, if I'm Cleveland, I'm thinking about moving off my former first overall pick. Just saying. Number 3, Big Ben's back. Will the Steelers dominate the AFC North again? I think that and I'll say it straight up, the Ravens were overrated last year. Lamar Jackson won MVP with throwing 36 touchdowns. Come on, people. You got to throw at least 40 to get MVP in my vote. And obviously you have the Juju Smith-Schuster. Is he going to do well? I don't know. Antonio Brown left. And then Big Ben got hurt, so you can't really dispute anything with Juju yet. We haven't seen anything from him yet because he hasn't had a quarterback throwing to him yet. And so we'll see what happens with Pittsburgh, if Big Ben will come back healthy and lead the Steelers back to the AFC North title. I'm thinking so, but we'll see. Number 4, and I just brought this up earlier, the NFC East is wide open. I love the NFC East this year. Because the Giants and the Redskins have both clean house. They both got rid of everybody on the coaching staff. They got all new guys. All new this, all new that. And then you have the 2 second-year quarterbacks. My fault. You have Dwayne Haskins and you have Daniel Jones coming back for the second seasons. They're both going to be starters. Because Case Keenum's on his way out the door in Washington. So, and obviously, the Cowboys hired Mike McCarthy. That's going to be a very interesting thing. A lot of people have the Cowboys headed to the Super Bowl under Mike McCarthy. told to pump the brakes. Well, I don't know about all that yet. But it's going to be very interesting. And the Eagles, I don't know. I mean, they didn't hire an offensive coordinator. They're not hiring an offensive coordinator for this season. I'm a little, I don't get that move. I don't understand that, but we'll see how it works. Anyway, the NFC East is more wide open than ever. It's going to be more competitive than ever. It's going to be very exciting. Look forward to seeing the NFC East. And number 5, my final one, is that these people think I'm nuts. I'm picking Super Bowl 45 already. Taking Green Bay against Kansas City, which I was hoping we might have seen this year, but again, the Packers, Aaron Rodgers can't win the NFC Championship games. We lost like 5 of them now. So I'm taking Green Bay over Seattle, by the way. I think Green Bay and Seattle are going to still be the 2 best teams in the NFC, just like they were this year. I don't think anybody else will come close. Maybe an NFC East team, but we'll get to that later in the offseason, depending on what happens with the draft and the OTAs and the training camps and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. As of right now, way too early predictions. Green Bay and Kansas City, Super Bowl 55. And I have the Chiefs coming out on top as repeat champions in the NFL. So there you have it. My top 5 things to look forward to for the 2020-21 NFL season. By the way, I guess I'll put the announcement out there now. My colleague and I, Todd Mintz, and I are starting a new NFL show. No name yet, none of that. Details coming soon, but it will premiere this September. So be sure to subscribe to me on YouTube as you are right now, if you are not yet. And let your friends know that we're having a show coming soon as well. All right, before I get to the XFL, because the XFL stuff is going to get big numbers, I hope. I know a lot of people are going to get hated. The Guardians people are going to hate what I'm going to have to say. The Battlehawks people are going to love what I'm going to have to say. But I'm going to have to say it. But before I get to that, really quick, baseball, a little baseball talk here. The Dodgers traded for Mookie Betts and David Price. Do they not realize what a team they have right now? That is an absolutely stacked team. And, I don't probably have attention about baseball like most of you don't. But that's a stacked team right now in L.A. The Dodgers, I feel like, are going to easily win the National League because, come on, you think the Nationals are getting back to it? I don't think so. And I do think maybe this is the year for the Yankees. The last several years for the Yankees, they just absolutely been blown out of the water or upset, mainly by the Astros. They lost Game 7 to, I believe it was Astros a couple years ago. And then obviously this year, Game 6, Jose Altuve, game-winning home run, sends the Astros to the World Series. So I think that's and come on, the Astros have the whole thing with the stealing signs. So obviously I think that the Astros are going to be distracted this year, and that'll give the Yankees the chance to finally win the American League pennant and get back to their first World Series in 10 years. I do think, though, that the Dodgers, with David Price, Clayton Kershaw, Josh Peck, I forget his name, Josh something. You have Mookie Betts now, the second best player in baseball behind Mike Trout. Come on, Dodgers, get it going. And I think the Dodgers are going to win the World Series this year. I'm putting it out there now. Have not previewed the MLB season yet, but Dodgers winning World Series, book it. All right, let's get to the XFL, because the people are not going to like this. I'll start with this. St. Louis has to be the absolute heavy favorite. The ratings are out as of tomorrow's the first games. The ratings are out. The Dallas Renegades are the favorite with the tie with the Guardians. The two teams that are tied for the best odds to win the championship, and I don't see it. I'll get to that in a moment, though. We'll start with the Battlehawks. The Battlehawks should be the heavy favorite. Big time. Such a heavy favorite. They have the best roster. I looked at all the other rosters, and I was like, who the hell are these guys? A bunch of mediocre, especially outside the quarterbacks. Aaron Murray, you have Matt McGloin, Landry Jones. Fine and dandy, but who's everybody else? Who are these people? I've never heard of them before in my life or anything. Or most of them I heard of, and I just don't know who they are. Whatever the case is, I do feel... And then you go ahead, and I looked at St. Louis rosters. Wow. The Battlehawks are absolutely stacked. Jake Payne as a defensive tackle. I've watched him play for the Philadelphia Soul, so I really like him. Taylor Russolino, obviously a great kicker. Played kick with the Panthers. Marquette King's your punter. Everybody knows who Marquette King is. He's the greatest punter in football. Come on. Jordan Tamu, the starting quarterback for the Battlehawks. My boy Derek Dean. Shout out to Derek if you watch this. I've been hearing so much special things about him. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him. Taylor Heineke is a backup quarterback. So who's to say Taylor Heineke's not going to come in and take the job from Jordan Ta'amu and just do incredible things? Because I was hoping he would have started Carolina with the Panthers, but the Panthers went a different direction. Will Hill had success in the NFL. Everybody knows that. Played with the Giants and some other teams. Christine Michael is a great running back in Seattle with that O-line, and he did good stuff in Seattle. Shaq Jones is a name I know. Joe Powell. Joe Powell is going to be the best safety in the XFL. Joe Powell was an incredible player for the Cleveland Gladiators and the Baltimore Brigade of the XFL. He's going to, the Arena Football League, excuse me. He's going to shine in the XFL. He's going to be a big part of that St. Louis defense. And honestly, I don't see how you don't have the Battlehawks as the top team in the XFL. I do not understand how the Guardians and the Renegades are the two best teams in the XFL. I just don't get it. My favorite team is the Battlehawks. I'll be rooting for them this year. Not as a fan, but as an analyst, as a sportscaster. I'll be rooting for the Battlehawks to win the inaugural XFL championship. Alright, so with that, we're going to piss some people off here. Let's go. Power rankings for the XFL. This is going to be fun. And we start with number 8, the team tied for the favorite to win the XFL championship. The Guardians, number 8. They got rid of all their talent at camp, if you ask me. I mean, they got rid of the Giuseppe kid who snuck into the Browns tryouts and scored a touchdown in preseason. Just imagine the things he could have done for the Guardians in the regular season, in the postseason. If they do get to the postseason, they got rid of Darius Prince, who's one of the best receivers I've ever seen in my life. They gave rid of all the talent, and then have Matt McGloin our quarterback. Oh my God, Matt McGloin. The guy couldn't win a playoff game for the Raiders in place of Derek Carr. Come on now. And the best player on the Guardians right now is Luis Perez, the backup quarterback. He won 5 games for the Birmingham Iron in the Alliance. And when they lost, they were 5-3. They lost the 3 games. They lost big time. They were getting blown out in those games. They won 5 games. Good for him. So that's the best player on that team. That's Jesus. Guardians number 8. I don't understand how they're tied for the favorite at all. Number 7, Dallas. Again, how is this team tied for the favorite odds to win the championship? I don't understand this. Because if you ask me, Bob Stoops kind of reminds me of Jeff Fisher. He had a talented team. He won. He went to national championships with the team. He won. I don't know if he won a championship. He might have. Back 2000, I think he won if he was with them. But Bob Stoops is like Jeff Fisher. He needs talent around him to win. And where is the talent in Dallas? There is none. Landry Jones, good for you. You have your former starting quarterback. Doesn't mean anything. You had a talented Oklahoma team back then. And, I just don't see anything going on for Dallas. I don't understand the hype. So Renegades, number 7. Number 6, I'm going Houston. They're Houston Roughnecks. I feel like the one player that's going to have to carry this team on offense is Sammy Coates, the former Steelers receiver. Other than that, I don't know much about anybody else. I don't know this team, whatever. I think Sammy Coates is going to be good talent, hopefully, with the quarterback he has. And I have Houston, number 6. Number 5, I have the Wildcats, the Los Angeles Wildcats. Something tells me Josh Johnson and Trey McBride, that's going to be a hell of a duo in the XFL this year. Josh Johnson is their starting quarterback, and Trey McBride is getting a lot of praise as a receiver in the XFL, so look forward to seeing that duo out in the field. Tomorrow they're in Houston. I think that's the first game, actually. They're in Houston. They play the Roughnecks. So LA number 5. Number 4 is I have Seattle number 4. The only reason I picked Seattle number 4 is I do like their quarterbacks. BJ Daniels, very talented quarterback. I know him. And Brandon Silvers, I've heard of him too, and I've seen some plays from him, something like that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, whatever the case may be. I do like their quarterback, so hopefully, that really helps them out big time. Kind of like how I think Houston needs help from Sammy Coates. Seattle Dragons, by the way, number 3. Number 2, we're going Tampa Bay Vipers. I had them number 3, Tampa Bay Vipers. I had them at 2, but I had to switch them with another team. We'll get to that in a moment. They have a great roster. Tampa has a great roster. And really, I can't wait for Quentin Flowers, the former quarterback out of South Florida. He's going to be not just a quarterback, he's going to be a running back. And he might even put him at a receiver, too. So, I'm very excited. I love versatility when it comes to football. That's like my big thing is versatility. And a running quarterback, of course. And he's both, pretty much. He's like a running quarterback, and he's versatile, and I love it. And that's the one reason I'm really rooting for Tampa. But they're only number 3 on my list. Number 2, DC. Oh my God, what a team the DC Defenders have down in the nation's capital. Cardell Jones, hello, he was a backup quarterback that won a national championship over Marcus Mariota. And I believe Michael James was on that college football playoff national championship game team for Oregon. You have Eli Rogers is going to be a great receiver. I like him in Pittsburgh. He was a 3 or 4 in Pittsburgh with the Steelers. He's probably a 1 now or 2 with DC. Rashad Ross just led the Lions in touchdown receptions with the Arizona Hotshots. So I'm very looking forward to Rashad Ross returning to football. Matt Elam, great kicker. Scooby Wright, he fell in the draft because of some BS that he did or whatever he did. But Cardell Jones, Eli Rogers, Rashad Ross, and then you have Matt Elam, Scooby Wright. That's a really great DC team. I really like what they're doing, but they're number 2. And number 1, St. Louis Battlehawks, the team I'm rooting for. Again, they should be heavy favorites. They have the best roster in the league. They have so much talent everywhere on defense. The quarterbacks, the punter is the most talented punter in football. The punter, you hear that? We are talking about the punter. That's when you know a team is good. You're talking about their punter, how good their punter is. Christine Michael, hope Taylor Heineke starts eventually. Sun Point. Shaq Jones on defense. You have Joel Powell's going to be the best safety in the XFL. I've said that already. And so I have the St. Louis Battlehawks at number 1 in my power rankings for preseason power rankings for the XFL. Kickoff is tomorrow at 2 o'clock with the Roughnecks and the Wildcats, if I'm not mistaken. All I know is Sunday, the Guardians, who are near me, host the Tampa Bay Vipers at 2 p.m. at MetLife Stadium. SCU show brought to you by Graham Slam Inc. Graham Slam Inc. is a new and upcoming brand of graphics and clothing material. By the way, I have to give a shout out to Tori Graham because he not only just makes graphic designs. I have not mentioned this. I did mention it on my spot, but I did not mention this personally. Tori Graham makes more than just graphic designs. Tori Graham makes socks. Tori Graham makes shoes. And coming soon, Tori Graham is making hats. So, for those guys that like to take Instagram photos looking good with their clothes and their hats and everything like that, you'll want to hit up Tori Graham, Graham Slam Inc., Graham Slam Inc., Graham Slam, one word, on Facebook, on Instagram, or hit him on Twitter at Graham_Tori. You will not want to miss these deals. They are awesome. I've seen them myself.